How funky is your chicken? How funky is your chicken? How loose is your goose? Our goose is totally loose. So come on, all you hog fans. So come on, all you hog fans, and shake your caboose. And shake your caboose. Woo! Hello, welcome to episode 12 of Full Movie Podcast, a show where we talk about those long-forgotten classics that deserve a rewatch. I'm Matt.
And I'm Freya.
And today we have our very first special guest. It's like quite a monumental moment.
Very exciting.
I think next week we're getting Spielberg. Can't wait. Mm-hmm. So today we have the most handsome man from Hackney, Freya's friend and mine. It's Matt Scully.
Hi.
Woo!
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you for being here.
So this is a film podcast. So what's your favourite film?
I have two. One you both know is The Little Mermaid.
But Daddy, I love you.
The other is a not so well known film. It's like an animation of a Russian folktale called The Fall of the White and the Flying Ship.
Never heard of it.
Exactly. It makes me sound really cultured, but it's actually just...
Pretentious.
We just had very little DVDs, VHSs growing up, so it was like, it's something I just watched
Your
a lot.
VHSs came from Russia?
Yeah, they were cheaper.
Well, you are definitely more cultured than me. I don't think I have anything Russian in my film collection. So, why don't you tell us, what film are we doing today?
Today we are watching the 1992 teen classic, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Flighty teenage girl Buffy learns that she is her generation's destined battler of vampires.
Directed by Fran Rubin Kazoo, who's more of a producer. Hasn't really directed much, but she did produce the TV series of Buffy as well as Angel. It's written by Joss Whedon, who is the writer of Toy Story, Alien Resurrection, Firefly, Dollhouse, Cabin in the Woods, and of course Avengers, and also Justice League. But you know,
We don't talk about that.
let's not talk about that.
What?
Have you seen it?
Exactly.
So, tell us, do we like this film?
Yes.
Good, excellent. Join us next week. I've done that joke twice now. What's everybody think of this film?
I had the honour of watching it for the first time today. I did think I'd seen it before, but I was thinking of the Sabrina the Teenage Witch movie.
Right. Which I've never heard of.
Well, it's a thing.
Okay.
It's got Ryan Reynolds in it.
Oh, wow. Deadpool.
But
Cool.
that's another story. And I really, really enjoyed it. I'm less of a fan, not because I don't like it, but I wasn't really into Buffy the TV series. I have since watched it a lot and really, really enjoy it. But yeah, I thought it was hilarious. Really, really loved this film.
I was a huge fan of the series, and I remember kind of coming to the film fairly late and having the quite high expectations, and then watching it and being like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I guess it's like an introduction to Buffy. And I think actually rewatching it now, I like now I'm a bit older, there are bits of it which I absolutely hate. Pee Wee Herman as a vampire. One of his death scene, which we'll talk about, I'm sure. But like,
We will.
I do think like it's not without its merits. I do think it's a good film.
Sure.
I can understand why he left halfway through that.
yeah, fair enough.
Well, I like the film. I know it's not an Oscar-worthy film, but I still like it. It's one of those films which I remember when it came out of cinema, and it was like, I think one of my sisters wanted to see it. But again, like Matt is, I'm a massive fan of the Buffy TV series. I used to watch that every BBC Two, every Tuesday on BBC Two, I think it was. Just great show. And like, yeah, it's very different to the TV show, but at the same time, TV show has a lot of funny elements in it.
I think they both have a nice like campy element to it. I think the film definitely leans more into like the campy, ridiculous side, but they both translate sort of fairly well. And I think the series did very well was like kind of pay homage to the film, but they were both very separate entities.
Yeah,
so,
definitely. So what's our favourite lines, Freya?
My favourite line comes from I think he's the guidance counsellor, Gary, And he's a bit ludicrous and is obviously very inappropriate. It talks about dropping acid at a Doobie Brothers concert.
Yeah.
But my favourite line is, "I have detention slips here and I'm not afraid to use them."
Matt?
My favourite line comes in quite early on, which is, "Excuse much, rude or anything," which is essentially what she says to the man who's about to reveal her destiny as while in an LA mall lift. I'm like, we've all been there. I mean,
I mean, she starts out as such a valley girl, LA airhead, and it's brilliant.
Well, that's what Matt said. It's like the progression of the character is not in a nasty way. It's on the nose.
It is really on the nose, and they do it so well, both in her mannerisms, her vocabulary, and also in her appearance as well. Sorry,
yes.
I digress. What's your favourite line, Matt?
My favourite line, I've got two. The first one is from Pike, who is Luke Perry, who would later become 90210 guy, that.
Yep.
He's having a fight with the vampire in the abandoned amusement park.
Yep.
Sure. And he turns around and says, "Look, air." I just think that's quite a fun little line. And then next one is from Pee-wee himself. He's just had his arm cut off, and he just turns around and says, "You ruined my new jacket. Kill him a lot." I just think that's quite fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, speaking of Pee-wee and his missing arm, my favourite... It's not even a scene. It's not even my favourite scene. It's just a moment in the film. It's a mistake in the film, and it's in the scene where Buffy first comes up against the head vampire, Lothos,
I think it is.
With a moustache.
Yeah, with a moustache.
You should never have a mustachioed vampire, I'm sorry.
It's like, stop, you've been dead for like how many years and you still don't know how to not grow. No, you don't have to have a moustache.
Maybe, if you're biting in someone's neck, the blood is going to come on your tash.
Maybe he's just hoping that it'll give them it's giving him a nice little tickle, Anyway, she's just faced up. They leave, and he's just killed Merrick.
Sure.
And Rutger Hauer leaves, and Pee-wee follows him, and you can very, very, very clearly see the severed arm tucked underneath the back of his jacket. And that just brought me so much joy, because I'm a terrible person.
No expense spared.
What's your favourite scene, Matt?
Do you know what? It is the scene there where Buffy first is waiting for a vampire to rise from the grave, and I think the reason it stands out is because they do explore that in the series, and they almost do a throwback and like redo it. But actually, the film does it a lot better, and I think as well for me it was that I think you see that kind of her maturing as a character and as Buffy, and sort of fairly quickly in that scene. And I just think it's actually very excellently played by is it Kirsten Swanson?
Sure. Could be Terry, I don't know, but yeah, sure.
The girl who isn't Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah.
But no, I think she does it. I think she does a really good job. And actually, I think she does the role credit throughout the whole film. Absolutely. But I think that particular scene, she's just like, yeah, she really nails it.
Mm-hmm.
My favourite scene is the scene. You've given such a great explanation to your favourite scene, and I'm just going to say it's the basketball scene. You see Ben Affleck for the first time, and he's surrounded by the kids. I'm sorry, some of those people are clearly in their 30s and 40s.
Oh yeah.
They had not children.
He also gets a line, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he's like, no, you have it. So he just hands the guy the basketball.
Absolutely.
So, but then I also really like the prom with, again, kids, and I know you guys are going to say about the extras in the background.
Yeah.
The extras, my favourite one is the one with her arms crossed. She's like, when's lunchtime? She's so over it.
Yeah, clearly like take 47. Whoa, it's my break.
Well, these guys are, Buffy's fighting vampires and they're like crawling through the windows, and there's like extras in the back with their like hands on their hips like,
yeah.
God. So yeah, I do quite like that scene.
Absolutely.
Shall we get on to facts?
serve some juicy facts up.
Facts and yeah.
Come on, Matthew, you go first.
So one of my favourite ones is Alyssa Milano, who from I guess Charmed fame and
Other stuff.
And other stuff. I think she was very prominent in the Me Too movement as well.
Oh yeah.
So she was initially in the running to play Buffy, which I think she would have been really good in, to be honest. I also really like it because it ties two things I love together, which is Buffy, and she was also a character study for Ariel in The Little Mermaid. So
it all
comes back round to me talking about the things I like.
That's why you're here.
That's why I'm here.
So my fact is, screenwriter Joss Whedon was so frustrated by how much of his vision was being mishandled and how much of it was being rewritten. Wesley Crusher is Will Witten. That he eventually left the set during production and never came back.
I can kind of get it though. Like, I think it initially was written to be quite a little bit more darker, and I do think like the campy element to the film like is great because I think it really ties into that whole 90s theme of like I guess like campy LA clueless-y sort of vibes. But I also, I do sort of think if it was darker, maybe I think I would have liked it more.
Sure.
Pee Wee Herman ruins it. I'm sorry.
He does,
Another fact for you is Buffy's last name is never mentioned in this movie, not until the release of Buffy the Vampire series was released in 1997, was she referred to as Buffy Summers. And I think we've got time for one more fact. Go on, Matt, give me a fact.
I've got two really cool ones. Seth Green apparently makes a cameo in this, which I didn't. I looked at him, I couldn't find him.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah,
and also, her Buffy's prom look, where she's wearing the white dress and the black jacket, is actually carried over into the series. Where in the last episode, she essentially wears a reimagined version of the same thing, which I think is a really nice nod to the film.
I love it.
It is. Right, so thank you very much, man. That was awesome.
Thank you so much for coming onto our show.
So, have you got any links then, Matt? Freya? One of you.
I can give you some links. So if you want to contact us via email, we're fullmoviepodcast@gmail.com, on Twitter @fullmoviepoduk, and on Instagram @fullmoviepodcast. And you can listen to us everywhere.
Yes. If you put your ear up to a postbox, we'll be playing.
Absolutely.
Maybe. If somebody's dropped their phone.
Sure.
And they were listening to us.
Yeah.
So, cool. We've had a review.
We've had a lovely new review.
Yes. From Mr. Enriquez.
Yes.
Is that right? He pronounced the title "And Why Not," which is a reference to Barry Norman. I get that reference.
Aha.
And he said, "This is the movie podcast that will make you want to rewatch your old favourite films with new perspective. A perfect bite-sized podcast." Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I had a lovely conversation on Twitter with him actually about The Labyrinth, where he was showing off his soundtrack and his artwork. So it made me very jealous, but it was a pleasure.
Cool, right on. Well, thank you very much. So, again, one last time, thank you so very much to Mr. Matt Scully.
The pleasure was all mine, thank you.
We loved having you.
We really do. It's been a very fun day. We've drunk lots, we've eaten lots, and we watched Buffy.
Yeah.
Freya still needs to cook dinner. So.
Yeah, I'll cook dinner. Is there anything that you'd like to say? Anything you want to plug?
Just please support the podcast. Thank you for having me, and I hope I get to come back in the future and talk about more films.
Absolutely.
Well, I know for well you suggested Empire Records. So I think we should have you for Empire Records.
Empire Records, definitely.
Absolutely.
So, what film are we doing next week? Do either of you two know?
Yes, I know. We're doing Harry and the Hendersons.
Yes, we are. So, tune in on Tuesday. Tuesday.
Uh-huh.
So, yes, thank you again.
Thanks, everyone. We'll speak to you soon.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.